I've got a link to a story below that talks about Swiss Christian fighters who've gone off to defend the Kurdish Christians and the Syrian Christians against being beheaded by ISIS. Now, if you've already seen a previous video I've made, I don't believe that ISIS actually exists. I really don't. I just think it's yeah, I know there's probably people being murdered out there. I believe like these journalists are being beheaded and stuff, but there's all kinds of bandits and Islamic nuts in the Middle East, but they're not organized. This ISIS thing is not real to me. I've yet to see any proof that this mass organization that has tanks and bombs and jet fighters and everything else, who seem to execute people, but the video cuts out before they execute them. But there was one shot there that kind of really convinced me now, one story in the Daily Mail that has really convinced me now that ISIS doesn't exist. It was a so-called capture of a Syrian Air Force base where they claim that the ISIS has captured a load of jet fighters. Like, they can fucking fly. Flying a jet fighter is not something you don't just stick in and start ignition. That was one thing. There was like 5 or 6 jet fighters on the airport that scared the shit out of us. The ISIS jets were coming to bomb our cities, along with the fact that they showed what they purported to be Syrian army guys being led into the desert half naked to be shot. Well, the reality was that half those guys had long hair. And even if we're in Islam, in the military, in an Islamic country, you'll still have to cut your hair short because that's part of the military indoctrination. Those guys were not, unless they were civilian contractors on the site, and there was far too many of them with long hair, were not military. They all had too much long hair. Now, as I said in a previous video, ISIS is, as far as I'm concerned, so far, from what I'm seeing developing, ISIS is a sting operation to get morons in Europe, America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, and elsewhere, morons, Muslim morons who are dumb enough to believe that there's they've been radicalized by some local intelligence services paid off cleric to radicalize them and to think they're going off to fight in some Islamic war. That's why they have the rapper, the hip hop guy, yo, come over here and fight the holy war, and all that shit. To get the biggest morons that actually in the Muslim community, and get them over to Iraq or Syria and then kill them. And that's what I believe those execution videos are. I actually don't believe that they're ISIS they're killing local civilians. I believe that they're actually well, on the evidence so far, that they're Iraqi and Syrian military forces killing potential ISIS radicals. The morons who are dumb enough to think they can join. That's just my speculation. I could be wrong. Now, assuming that's right, why wouldn't you have morons on the Christian side, right? So a story breaks now of Swiss Christian mercenaries who've gone to fight ISIS. Now, this is the same thing again. Switzerland is an absolutely devious. If there's one nation on earth that would actually pass as being psychopathic, it's Swiss. Now, I'm not saying about Swiss people are born there, but the society itself is Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland a couple of times. Yeah, fabulous mountains, incredible public transport, spotless clean, but you want to fucking get out as soon as you arrive there. It's completely creepy. There's then all these, these ignorant Americans on the Alex Jones channel showing photographs of 2 Swiss girls on bicycles with machine guns as it's a paradise. If you went to Switzerland, you would fucking die, unless your idea of like living on a life support machine is ideal to you. Switzerland's a horrible place. It's so unnatural. And this is where Nestle comes from. Nestle, the fuckers who say water isn't a human right. And so Switzerland is like, we're neutral little Switzerland. We've only had, 500 years of peace. We've never bothered anybody. And we make, clocks and watches, and we're so nice. But that's a fucking scam. Switzerland is where all the power structures hide. Geneva, they're the center of all these, like Zurich. These are all dark, dark places filled with the darkness of the world. All the monsters, all the psychopaths, all have their little banks and their money and the little arms trading deals and all the little shit goes on there. Switzerland is a dark little fucking place. With chocolate and cuckoo clocks. That's all a facade. It's like the psychopath who holds the teddy bear going, I like pink wine and bubble baths, and they're like the devious bastards behind your back who have no decency, and no decency breaks who will spread any rumor they want about people. Switzerland's like that. So, of course, there were Swiss Christian knights. Now, this story has now been spread all over all the right wing, moron, fucking, right wing neo-Nazi websites, and all the fuckheads are all fired up. Yeah, man, we're gonna fight asses. We're gonna fight against the Christians. Only, or the English ones from the EDL. Oh, mate, we're gonna finally stand up against the Packies, and all this kind of shit. Well, the hardcore ones of them, the motherfuckers stupid enough to actually believe that story, which is posted below, will go over there thinking they're fighting for Christians, and they'll all be right-wing extremist Nazis, and the same thing will happen to them. It's a double sting. This is a double indemnity, a double sting to get the radical Muslims and the radical Christians. And that's what they did with the Balkans in the 1990s. I know Irish morons who went to fight for Croatia because Croatia was Catholic and ended up getting shot or fucked up in the Yugoslavian civil war. They're doing what they did with the Balkans on a mass scale with European and other, Christian identity, white racist groups and extremist Muslims. Encourage them to come over so they can wipe them out. And only the morons of morons would be stupid to fall for, but they are. They're stupid. They're idiots, okay? And are the elites doing us a public service? Well, in a kind of a way they are, because I have no time for extremists of any time. I can't stand hardcore Muslims or hardcore Christians. I hate all that stuff. The Jewish defense, all those crazies. They're all there. They don't belong in Europe or any Western nation. And so that's what that is. It's a double sting. It's run out of Switzerland. There's a guy called Ferristocracy who makes very good videos on here, which really shows how dark and wicked Switzerland is behind the cuckoo clocks and the chocolate. So if you're a moron reading some right-wing, neo-Nazi site that's been set up by possibly, the ADL or, to entrap you, or MI5, and you're dumb enough to believe the post on there, and you're dumb enough to go off and fight for the Christians in the Middle East, I got news for you. It's a big sting. It's a big balkanization in the Middle East, because they want to do the same thing to the Middle East that they did to the Balkans. They smashed up Yugoslavia so they could get them all one by one in the European Union. So they're smashing them all up in the Middle East so they can get them all one by one in the Arab League. It's not real. It's a phantom. Don't believe it.